Let's talk about getting what you want in life. We're here on this planet to have a good time, to become the best version of ourselves, to contribute, to experience joy and love, and just experience all the amazing fruits that this incredible world has to offer. For some of us, there's a lot of things that we want to have in life. We want to experience, we want to be able to do. And for others, life is a bit more simple, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you are clear on what it is that you want. We live in a world of duality, right? There are two sides to this coin. There's what is wanted, and there's the absence of what is wanted. Now, the challenging thing about the human brain is that we are wired, for the most part, it's been said we have 5 times as many receptors for negative pain avoidance type of stuff. And what that means is that we are hardwired to focus on the things that we don't want. And that's why complaining and negativity is so much more prevalent in everyday life, just because that is our hardwiring. And when you combine that with this repetitive pattern of just simply complaining about what we don't want and focusing on those things, we more or less groove those tracks and form a habit that becomes very challenging to break. And so what I want to encourage you here in this lesson is to think of yourself, think of your mind as a radio tower, and you're emitting a specific frequency. But here's the thing, and this is the beautiful thing about life, is that you get what you put out. And what that means is that you get what you focus on. This is probably not the first time you've heard this, but hopefully this message really starts to sink in. If you are emitting a signal based on what you are focused on mentally, and that signal is focused on a lack, what you don't have, negative things, complaining, then isn't it going to make sense that you're going to attract more of that into your life? Because you can't be tuned into the radio station 103.5 and expect to hear 107.9, right? There is the focus of what is wanted, and then there's the absence of what is wanted in life. And what I want to really encourage you to think about is to focus on the first. So let's just use money as an example. So we all want more money for the most part, right? So we focus on wanting more money. But within that, we have to look at what is really the focus of that intention. Is the focus the fact that we want more wealth, or is the focus on the absence of the wealth that we want? Now, it's a small distinction, but it's a very important one. Because if we're focused on the fact that we don't have enough money, then we're focused on the absence of what it is that we want. And if we're focused on that lack, then we can only bring more lack into our existence. I hope this makes sense, because this is a very small detail, but it can make all the difference. So let's just break this down very logically and numerically. Let's say that you want to make $1 million, and right now you're at $100,000. So we might focus on the fact that there's a gap of $900,000. We're not where we want to be yet. And so we're constantly living in this mindset of the gap, of not being or not having what it is that we want. So our focus is on the absence of the $1 million that we want, instead of focusing on what it is that we want, which is the $1 million. Now you might be saying, okay, Yuri, this is not making a lot of sense to me. We're splitting hairs here. We are, but we're not, because it's really all about the energy behind it. And here's a very simple way to think about this. If what you're focused on isn't making you feel good, then that's a sign that you're not focused on the right thing. So if you're focused on the gap of $900,000 that you haven't achieved yet in this example, you're most likely going to feel this sense of anxiety, this feeling of incompleteness. And if you're feeling those emotions, and this is where you really want to tap into and become aware of how you're feeling, then we know we're not in the right frequency to attract what it is that we want. Because if we're focused on what it is that we do want, then naturally we should be feeling good. We should feel peace and calm and expectancy. And if we're not feeling those emotions, then use that as your guidance to remind you to shift your focus. Because if you're feeling any kind of negative emotion, just use that as the warning signal on your dashboard to say, hold on, I'm focused on the wrong thing, okay? The simplest exercises that I want you to start with. If you're not already doing this, please start doing this on a daily basis. If you have a journal or a notebook, this is probably the easiest thing to do is first thing every morning, and you can do this at night as well, or either one, is take out a page and write down everything you want. Now you're gonna see over the next number of lessons, we're gonna expand upon this, but it's a really good starting point to write down everything you wanna be, do, and have in life. The reality is that the vast majority of people, now I don't know statistically what it is, some people say it's like 97% or 95%, it's a very, very high percentage. The majority of people in life who go through their lives never write down their goals. And I'm not even talking about goal setting here. I'm just talking about what are the things you want to be, do, and have in your life. Just write those down every single day and start there. Because what this is going to do is this becomes your positive focus. This becomes you like actively writing things down. Like the only things you're writing down are things that you want. You're not writing the things that you don't have. You're not writing them in the sense of like, I don't have this yet, I feel crappy about my situation. You're focused on, here's what I want. Here's how I'm excited about this. And you can certainly, write them in different tenses. Some people talk about the fact that you want to write them as if you've already achieved them. So I am so happy now that $1 million is in my bank account. Now you could write that, but we're also going to talk about beliefs and really believing that. So for now, don't worry about the way you're going to write it in terms of like, I'm excited to make $1 million in my business, or I'm excited to make $1 million or have $1 million in my bank account versus I'm so excited that I have $1 million in my bank account. For now, don't worry about the tense. It's less important than the feeling. But as you're writing this stuff down, what's going to happen is the following. And this is what I want you to pay attention to. You're going to feel, and I want you to tune into this, you're going to feel a certain way. So if you are writing down, I'm excited to make $1 million, just notice how you feel about that, right? Do you feel that is that believable to you? Is that achievable to you? Do you feel resistance to that? Do you feel your stomach kind of feeling that anxious feeling? If that's the case, that's okay. Just notice and observe it. Because what's gonna happen as you do this repeatedly is you're gonna start to groove new trails, new paths in your neurology. At first, this is gonna feel uncomfortable. You're gonna think, well, there's no way I could do this. There's no way I could achieve this. There's no way I could experience this. The reason we wanna do this every day is because we're creating a new neural pathway. We're creating a new way of looking at your world. And we're focused on the positivity, the things that you want in life, okay? The key to this is doing this every day. And I'm telling you, it's gonna take you 5 minutes, right? I think your dreams are worth 5 minutes. So the one other thing I wanna remind you of here is that details create dreams. So the more vivid and more detailed you can be as you're writing these things down, the more real they'll become to you. So instead of saying, I want to travel the world, that's a very nice thing to say, but if you can't visualize that in your mind as you're writing this down, it's not going to be meaningful to you. So you can certainly start there. And the beautiful thing about doing this on a daily basis is that you're going to notice how much more clarity you get with repetition. So for instance, today, your first day doing this, right? You might say, I want to travel the world. And then you repeat that every day. I'm so excited to travel the world. I'm so excited to travel the world. And as you write this down every day, you're going to start to get more clarity because in your mind, you're going to start to see as you're writing this down, what does that mean to you? And so maybe it's like, oh, I'm so excited to spend a week in Barcelona, right? At my favorite hotel on this one street, as an example. And now that becomes very, very real and tangible, at least in your mind. You can see the hotel, you can see the location, you can feel the sense of being there. And that's the key to this, is making your dreams very, very detailed. And if at first they don't seem like that, that's okay. That's why we want to get into this practice of doing this every single day. Does that make sense? So do I have your commitment to writing down an exhaustive list of everything you want to be, do, and have in life? And here's the other cool thing. Now, I'm assuming you said, yes, Yuri, I'll do that, which is great. Here's the other thing, is that this list can change, it can expand, it might evolve over time. You might be in a certain place in life right now, this month, where there's a certain focus for you, right? Maybe it's on your health, maybe it's on your relationships, maybe it's on financial stuff, whatever that is. But what's gonna happen is that as you evolve, as you go through life, as you go through the next month and the next month, other things in life are gonna be more important to you. And so give yourself the opportunity to enjoy all of that. Write all of those things down in as much vivid detail as you possibly can and have fun with it. Most importantly is have fun with it. If you write down a list of 50 things as bullets, cool. If you write down a list of 3 things and really expand on those and get to the juice, the detail of what those look like, I think that's even better. So it's not a race to the biggest list. It's whatever is going to be most meaningful to you. And so this is a very, very powerful practice. It sounds extremely simple, and it is. And the reason I think this is a great starting point is because life is very simple. We get what we focus on. And if you are not currently getting the results that you want in your life or in your business, and if you take full responsibility for that, then you can really introspect and ask yourself, what have I been focused on? Have I been focused on a lack? Have I been focused on the fact that I don't have what I want? Have I been focused on doubt? Have I been fearful? Have I been worried? Because the reality is, the real answer to that should be yes. Because if you don't have what you want, the reality is that you do have what you focused on. That's the difference, is that you don't get what you want in life. You get what you focus on. You get what you believe. You get what you tolerate. And this initial exercise is all about helping you shift your focus so that you, to the majority of your time, are focused on what's working, what is good, what you want, and being aware of the feelings that you're experiencing on a daily basis, because your life is determined by how you feel. If you feel anxious and doubtful and sometimes hopeless, that's fine once in a while, but if that's your daily existence, then there's no way you can live the life that you want, that you say you want, because you're focused on the other stuff. And so the goal here is to focus on the gold, not the dirt. Both are always going to be present. If you were a miner in a mine, you have a miner's cap on, and a miner's cap has a flashlight attached to it, right? Now, the thing is, if you turn to the left, well, you're going to be shining the light in that direction. If you turn to the right, you're going to shine the light in that direction as well. But the thing is, you can only see what you're focused on. And if you're going through a pile of dirt, one person might look at all this dirt and say, wow, there's a lot of dirt in here. And someone else might say, wow, there's one speck of gold. What a miracle. And so this is something that we just need to train our minds to focus on, because it's not our default setting, sadly. And it is hard work. When I say hard work, it requires repetition and awareness. So that is my message for you today, is to get what you want in life, you have to focus on what you want. Go ahead, start that exercise today, and be mindful of this as you go through your day.